your life could be 10 years shorter, and the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
The 2024 Nebraska football season is here, and we need you to be a part of the Sea of Red Memorial Stadium this fall. A limited number of Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now and are only available while supplies last. Don't miss out on any of the action this season by getting yours before it's too late. To purchase your Husker football single-game tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Monday of game week. This is the Happy Hour. I am Rico here on 93.7 The Ticket, a special edition, a special 2-hour Happy Hour today, as Adam Carricker has some business to attend to. He will be in studio, though, this week, so you'll be able to listen and see him here at our 93.7 The Ticket studios. But again, happy Monday game week here in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska. Rico joined by Austin Orman. Austin, how are you?
Rico, we made it to game week.
Finally.
Could I possibly be anything but great? Could I possibly be feeling any way but grand?
You could be feeling fantabulous. You could be feeling ecstatic. Excelente. There are many other words, but no, you are feeling exactly how you should be.
I feel like I should be feeling, right? It's the right time of year again. We're here. We finally made it again.
I have avoided the Nebraska Kool-Aid.
Somehow. How dare you?
Somehow I've avoided it.
How dare you?
I haven't come out and said that Nebraska is going to win 10 games.
There, you just did.
I'm proud of myself because I don't know if I believe it quite yet. We'll see what happens on Thursday and Friday, but I think I'm sitting in a pretty good spot right now. I think I'm sitting pretty, especially after Nebraska released their depth chart.
Woo!
We are going to get to that in a second, but first, quick shout out to the Sartor Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Allo Channel 961. Check us out all across the state. Don't forget to comment, leave some comments on Facebook, YouTube. We will get to those, and I believe the X comments also pop up. We will get to those, and if not, shoot us a text on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line, 402-464-5685, or give us a call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, same number, 402-464-5685. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the depth chart, about what we are about to talk about, because pretty straightforward from Nebraska's depth chart, except for two positions. Two pretty important positions, mind you. Running back and kicker. Very strange for Nebraska at those two positions. At running back, you have 4 running backs listed, and every single one of them, except the last one because it wouldn't make any sense, has an or next to them. You could say, as was last year, that it's in alphabetical order, but it's not. It's in reverse alphabetical order is what somebody told me, which I think it actually is. Or you could say it's numerical, because it is. However, the first running back listed on the Huskers depth chart, Ramir, 6th year, Johnson. Just came up with that. I'm proud of myself.
Good job.
Followed by Emmett Johnson, who was the starter last year due to injuries. Followed by Gabe Ervin Jr., who was the first freshman running back to start the first game for Nebraska in quite some time. I don't remember the exact year, but when he did that 4 years ago, he was the first true freshman to start at running back for the first game in quite some time. And then the transfer from Oregon, Dante Dowdle, listed 4th. But again, a lot of ors next to all those names. Who is actually the starting running back? Nobody knows.
Your guess is as good as mine. Who do you think?
I think it actually is Ramir. I think I believe he was the starter to begin the season last year. I think it was him and Gabe were fighting for it last year. Both of them got hurt. And then Emmett stepped up beautifully and did what he needed to do, rushing for over 400 yards and I believe 2 rushing touchdowns. But I think Ramir and what he's able to do, his ability to, well, first off, that he's the oldest running back in that room, his ability to pass block with the best of them, despite not being the biggest guy in that room, his ability to catch out of the backfield, his willingness to run between the tackles, and the speed that he's been able to flash, albeit he's been injured a few times and then might have dropped a little bit. The speed he's been able to flash to get to the edge, to outrun defenders. I think he does everything pretty well. And really, I just don't believe that anybody's separated themselves yet. I don't believe that despite last season's, outbreak from Emmett Johnson, that he's been able to separate himself once Emmett and Gabe have gotten healthy. I don't believe that Gabe's been able to separate himself, and partly is because he's injured every single year right before he's about to break out, it seems. And then Dante transferring in, although he was highly touted coming out of high school and highly touted at Oregon, didn't play as much when he transferred into Nebraska. I think he still has to show something. The one thing that people keep going back to, and I'll keep going back to, is in that spring game, didn't seem like he had that breakaway speed.
Especially not against the ones, right? Against the backups, you saw it a little bit more. Didn't look like Big Ten caliber speed at the spring game. Not to say it's not in there. Maybe he's still, getting loose, getting warmed up, ready to go, not in full swing or whatever. But yeah, I expected to see a little more top end speed out of Dante Dowdle. Didn't see it, which is why I've been a little bit lower on him than I guess I wanted to be with the transfer from Oregon. Now, you can't go to Oregon and not be fast, at least in some capacity, right? So I'm sure it's in there. Maybe he's loosened up and ready to go now. I still think that Emmett Johnson's going to end up being the starter.
Okay.
I think the staff that has seen these guys for 2 years now, I think they really respect Ramir Johnson for who he is and how he approaches the game of football. But I think Ramir has proven over now, like you said, 6 years, he's just okay at everything, right? Even his speed didn't always flash on the field. And maybe it has more in practice recently, but Nebraska didn't necessarily use him as the speed back. It was a pretty balanced workload of between the tackles, off tackle, outside when he was healthy, even with the staff. They, don't forget, also wanted him at slot receiver. That's the guy they considered there. Again, injuries kind of popped up a little bit, moved him back to the backfield, went back and forth with him as there as well. Gabe Ervin, I think they like the frame. Again, 6'1", 220. I think Gabe, is on the bigger end for a running back anymore, but I think they like his frame. I just don't trust him to stay healthy. And even when he was healthy, it's not like he flashed anything crazy. He wasn't a guy that you had to have on the field. As a freshman with that frame and that explosiveness, sure. After all the injuries, I'm not completely sold. I think Emmett Johnson, is the best mix of everything. He was a better between the tackles runner last year than I would have expected. Has enough wiggle to make it work, has enough of a burst. Again, not a burner necessarily, but fast enough to get the job done. I think Emmett Johnson gets the start, and I think eventually down the line, if Dante Dowdle does end up flashing the speed that even just a little bit more than he's shown, I think he eventually takes over as the starter this year. But I'm saying Emmett Johnson's the starter game 1.
So you think those two will be the top 2 more than likely as the season rolls on?
That's what I think it should be. That's what I think is best for Nebraska.
I don't completely disagree with you. I did notice last year with Emmett Johnson, and I don't know, you guys can give me your takes as well, that his explosiveness when he got the ball and hit the hole was something we hadn't seen from a running back in a decent amount of time at Nebraska. Those guys that as soon as the ball touches their hands, they're getting through the hole. It's partly on the offensive line to keep people from meeting them in the backfield, and partly on the running backs to have that confidence that this is the hole I have to hit. I'm hitting it full speed. I'm getting to the second level. There's nothing you can do to stop me. And I think that he flashed that last year. And I do believe that as the season winds on, he'll end up being the starter. And I think that he's going to keep it throughout the season. I think Dante might push up and become that number 2, but also that Ramir and his ability to do everything and his experience in the Big Ten will allow him to see the field more often than not.
Who best fits Nebraska's running philosophy as you see it?
Ooh. I mean, they say they want to run the ball. What they showed last year was, what would you call it, power running? Or at least an attempt at power running?
I think it was running for their lives.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, fast and away from people, but because that's all they felt even somewhat comfortable in doing.
Mm-hmm. Thinking back to like the Baylor years with Matt Rhule, I know it's different. I would probably say, as it stands right now, Emmett Johnson probably fits what they want to do, that blend of power and speed. Not a bruising, towering back, but a guy who is able to lower his shoulder when he needs to run through somebody, but also has enough speed to get away from people. Dante, again, he went to Oregon. He should have that speed. Hell, even their linemen are fast. If he's able to show that speed, I think he's the perfect guy for what Nebraska wants to do or what they have said that they want to do. But as it stands right now, I think Emmett would be that number 1 guy. And again, I think Ramir right now, I don't know what the order is, if it's truly he's going to be the starter or what, but I think his experience is what's providing him more of a leg up.
See, I think it's Dowdle that's the style of running back that they want. I still think Satterfield will want to throw the ball first. Even if Matt Rhule says you want to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I still think there's just this itch that Satterfield has to scratch sometimes. Like, hey, here's a good opportunity to pass. Coach, it's 1st and 10, and we're on the opponent's 15-yard line. I know.
It's the last thing they would expect.
Throw it. Right. And, he puts more time and effort into play calling than I do. So I don't mean to, make too light of it. But I do think that Marcus Satterfield is a pass-first guy. Coach quarterbacks last year's, coach tight ends in the past. I just think, based on his tendencies from years past as well, I think he wants to throw it first. Which means I think Nebraska is going to need a pretty well-rounded back to get involved out of the backfield early on to be available for screens. But then when it comes down to the fourth quarter, I do think that Satterfield, and everything we've heard from Matt Rhule points me this way, understand that they have to run the ball in the fourth quarter to win, especially if they have a lead, right? Salt the game away, get really good at 4-minute drill. And I think Dowdell gives you enough of that power, that consistency to keep the pile moving a little bit, to get you 4 hard-earned yards on first down, to keep you on schedule, to set you up in 3rd and manageable, whether it's 3rd and 4 in. And then you have the whole playbook at your disposal, where you can go to a big guy like Banks posted up, where you can hit a tight end, or you say, hey, we've run for 6 yards on 2 carries, just have to up that by 1 yard. We have another first down, keep going. If you get a big play out of it because he's able to break a tackle at the line of scrimmage and then make a defensive back miss, great. But I think that frame of Dowdle is the one that they want to rely on in the fourth quarter.
I don't disagree with that at all. He's a bigger back, and again, if he can flash that speed, it'll be something that Nebraska will be able to take advantage of. We keep talking about the running backs. Let's hear what the head coach had to say about which running backs will be playing against the Miners of UTEP on Saturday.
I think we're going to play them all. Yeah, we're going to play them all. So, we kind of have different roles for all of them, and Big Ten plays 4 weeks away. So I feel like I was hoping we'd be a little bit more dialed in on where they are. But I feel like they've all competed enough that we're going to give them all a chance and make some decisions probably 3 weeks down the line. Might illuminate itself obviously earlier, but they're all doing really good things. And so, that's the one position we're probably not quite, we're still quite unsettled on that in kicker.
You seem a little not not worried, but a little perturbed by the running back situation. It seems like, as he said, something they had hoped to have settled on before the season started. And now they're you have all those oars next to your running backs' names. And I was mentioning this on the captain. I don't think running back by committee is a bad thing. Yes, I agree that you need to let somebody get into a rhythm, and that happens with a lot of running backs where the more carries they get, the better they're getting as the game goes on. But also, if you have a bunch of running backs who are all good at a certain thing, you'll be able to mix and match better and keep a team on their toes potentially if you also have running backs who are good at multiple things. I don't think it's a problem to have a running back by committee, but I do agree that having that workhorse, that number one back dialed in, is a luxury that Nebraska needs to figure out. It's something that somebody in that running back room, whether it's Emmett, Ramir, Dante, Gabe, needs to step up. And we've been saying it at a lot of different positions, step up and say, this is my job. Everybody fall in line behind me. And it seems like nobody's done that quite yet. And Matt Rhule seems a little perturbed by it.
And I can understand that mindset as well, because Matt Rhule isn't a coach that just plays the gamers, right? He wants the guys who are in there every day working hard, that differentiate themselves with their hard work and their efforts in practice. And I'm not trying to say that these guys aren't practicing hard, that they're not putting in work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if one of them was, maybe a little bit of a harder worker compared to the others, right? Again, not saying none of them are taking reps off or anything like that. But if there was a guy whose work ethic had differentiated itself, if there's one guy who was making the right read, even if it didn't always result in yards more consistently, they would be the guy. And I don't think he's found that yet. So now I think he's forced to rely on, okay, well, we'll turn the lights on Saturday afternoon against UTEP, and whoever plays the best, they'll get the first crack week 2 against Colorado. Then week 2 against Colorado, okay, who played the best this week? We'll give them first crack against Northern Iowa, for example, of course, barring injuries and whatnot. I there needs to be role definition.
Yes.
Whether that's starter, backup, and depth, whether that's first and second down back, pass catching back, pass protection back, screen back, whatever it is, just define roles. I would like it to be a clear-cut starter, a clear-cut number 2, and then depth as needed. But if you have to go power runner versus speed runner, inside runner, outside runner, first and second down, third down back, okay, fine. You get a little bit more predictable. It's not ideal. But if that's how you make the best of your situation, so be it. So I'm more worried about role definition than a starter with this team, especially given we're all the way through spring, summer, and fall camps without naming a starter. So right now, I would be more worried about role definition for the running backs than naming the starter.
Now, this is a situation that Nebraska and its fans have found themselves in many a year, where you have a room full of running backs who you believe can do something, and then again, not saying that it's going to happen, and then something happens throughout the season, and all of a sudden your third or fourth string running back is leading you in carries and yards for some reason, and you're wondering, well, why wasn't this guy the starter? Well, maybe these other guys were better, but guess what? They're hurt now, so they can't prove to you that they're better. So it's not to say that, oh, the third string guy is going to be the starter and they should have started him all along. It's that in those practices, again, nobody's taken the reins. Nobody's stepped forward and shown themselves to be that guy. And I do like the role definition. I brought this, again, something I brought up with the captain is, and I understand it's pros to college, but the New England Patriots for the longest time had 3-4 running backs who they all had different roles and they would start against different teams. You had your Rex Burkhead, your James White. There were 2 other ones I can't remember right now, but it wasn't that James White was the starter all season. It wasn't that Rex Burkhead was the starter all season. It was, okay, this game, Rex's skill set, him being the bigger bodied running back, is going to fit us better against this opponent. James White being the smaller guy who, again, can still run between the tackles, but is more of a speedy guy who's going to catch screens and do all that. He's going to be better against this opponent. I don't see that as a bad thing. Again, running back by committee is not a bad thing.
But it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. It's not something that you want to have to do. But if you do, it's good to have guys who are available to do a lot, or who have the ability to do a lot of different things, as opposed to having somebody who is, this is our power guy, this is our pass catching guy, this is our guy that we throw outside the tackles. Because as soon as you put them in the game, defense is like, all right, this guy, this Wan'Dale Robinson, he's not going to run between the tackles. He's going to run outside. All right, let's get ready to catch him at the outside. Let's gang tackle on the outside. You put in let's just say Dante down. Oh, he's going to run between the tackles. That's that's not ideal. But running back by committee with guys who have similar traits, I feel like can work out. But again, I'd rather have a number one guy.
And see, I'm gonna say the opposite. I would rather if you have running back by committees because you have a lot of guys with different skill sets. Because I think if you had a guy that could do it all, he would be your number one. There must be something holding each one of these guys back, whether it's a skill or an approach or whatever it is. I think if you have a bunch of guys with the same skill set, whoever differentiates themselves and is the best at more of those things becomes the starter. Whereas if you have guys with different skill sets, like it seems like Nebraska does in this room, that's where I think you have to mix and match and find the right situation for each of them.
Does it seem like they have it's 4 running backs, and at least to me, the Johnsons seem pretty similar, and then Irvin and Dowdell seem pretty similar, barring the injuries, like the body types.
Well, body types, yes.
And then like kind of the skill. I mean,
I think Ramir's faster. I think Emmett's better between the tackles. I think Ramir, again, has more north and south speed. I think Emmett's pretty darn good east and west too, though.
Okay. Emmett's better at making people miss.
I would argue.
Okay. I can get down with that. Quick text line and YouTube check. Quinn Sanders, we mentioned the kicker. He says Alvano is injured or recovering. We're going to get to that in the next segment. We're going to talk about Alvano, the rest of the depth chart. Jay Shaw is still in the running back room. As far as I know, he's not on the depth chart. He's not on the 4 deep, but as far as I know, he's still in the running back room. And then on the text line, this is maybe something you can answer. I have thoughts, but one from 1576. What's with the love for Dowdell? Just because he came from Oregon, he won't even be third string without an injury.
Maybe. You could be right, 1576. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I just look at that frame. I look at the pedigree, right? And I get it. Potential is not production. He's got a lot to prove. And I hope that we've made that clear. Or if not, hey, here we go. Dante Dowdell has a lot to prove for this team. But the reason that I like him more than, say, Gabe Ervin or Ramir Johnson is that Dowdell hasn't been hurt. Like Gabe Ervin, he's a bigger guy that I think maybe can't do as much as Ramir Johnson as an all-around football player, but I think Dowdell's a better pure running back than Ramir Johnson is. Ramir had his moment in the sun. He did an adequate job of it. You could tell that Nebraska's offense wasn't great with him as the lead rusher. And Gabe Ervin, you hope the best for the young man, but he's just always hurt. So I'm not going to bank on Gabe Ervin being healthy. So yes, for sure, there are some, personal biases in play here as for why I prefer Dowdell to the other guys. But I also think health is something you can measure, and he's been healthy. Offers are something you can measure. A lot of people ended up wanting him, and I think he has gotten better throughout fall camp. And that's another thing. Ramir Johnson is who he is as a player in college right now. I would be shocked if we saw another Divine Azigbo season and it came from Ramir Johnson. I would say the same thing for Gabe Ervin. Both those guys have to prove that there's something other than what they have been. We don't know what Dante Dowdell is. So sure, maybe I'm projecting more positively on him than the other guys, but I have heard better reports as fall camp has gone on about him.
He's a 4-star running back. He went to Oregon. We saw his high school tapes. Hey, you know what? What number was 1576? Go to YouTube, look up Dante Dowdell highlights. It's the highlights we watched were just from half of a season, the first half of the season. You want to get a little hyped up and wonder why we're a little higher on Dowdell than maybe we should be? Go look at those highlights. The man looked like a problem in high school. I understand it's high school, but still, man looked like a problem. With that, we're gonna get back. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the rest of the depth chart. Get a little bit into what Matt Rhule said. We have some more audio that we're gonna cut up and play for you guys, but we'll get back to that in the next segment. You're listening to Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A new school year is here with summer coming to an end, and it's time to get into proper shoes. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this August with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoe with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. Don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start the fall season off right with the August athletic shoe sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Have you been told by your physician that your testosterone level is fine, but you don't feel fine? Get a second opinion. If your testosterone level is 200, 350, even 500, and you still have symptoms, come to Limitless Male. We treat the person and the symptoms, not the number. Our mission is for you to feel optimal again. So if you're tired all the time, no energy, brain fog, muscle loss, nothing left in the tank, get your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
The 2024 Nebraska football season is here, and we need you to be a part of the Sea of Red Memorial Stadium this fall. A limited number of Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now and are only available while supplies last. Don't miss out on any of the action this season by getting yours before it's too late. To purchase your Husker football single-game tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Our lives only have so much time, but if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter, and the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Old School with DP and J.
And, this part of camp it happens in high school camp, when they have a certain amount of time before their game, before school starts and all that. And then it happens in college and it happens in the pros. I had more fights with some of my good friends, the guys that I'm considered lifelong friends at this point in camp, than with some, over-energized rookie trying to make a name for himself. Seriously.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Happy Hour here on a Monday, game week. Exciting times here in Lincoln. Star City is hyped and ready for another season of Husker football. Nick Sainert might be joining us here shortly as he came back from the Nebraska football presser with Coach Rhule. He's not joining us. I lied. He came in to grab something.
Hi, Nick. Nice to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, Nick. Thanks for bringing us the game notes, though.
Yeah.
We got the UTEP game notes. We got the Nebraska game notes. And Rico made a discovery that he probably should have known, but didn't. And that's on me. You know, shame on me. UTEP's head coach, Scotty Walden.
Walden.
Why do I keep saying
no
Waldron? Walden. Scotty Walden, UTEP's head coach. This is his first season as the head coach at UTEP, but not his first season as a head coach. He was a head coach at Southern Miss on an interim basis in 2020, and then Austin Peay from 2020 to 2023, and then he takes over at UTEP. 34-20 as a head coach in his career, including winning 2 conference championships at back-to-back years in different conferences. The ASUN in 2022 and the UAC in 2023 with Austin Peay, both years.
Beat him up. Let's go, P.
Is that what they say?
That's their chant.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Isn't that funny?
It's a little weird. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. So UTEP coming up to Nebraska to take on the Miners, taking on the Cornhuskers on Saturday, as you all know, 2:30. We'll have our pregame show, the A1 Automotive pregame show, live from our station here on 1040 O Street at 12. We'll be going 2.5 hours before kickoff. We'll go right up until kickoff so you guys can walk by, get yourself some coffee or some beer, some wine from the mill. You can come in, talk to us. We'll have all kind of manner of person here. We'll have a bunch of former players, the ones that are on the air, and potentially some that might not be on the air. I'm not sure. We'll see who decides to show up here at our beautiful studios. Again, 1040 O Street, 12 o'clock pregame, A1 Automotive, ticket tailgate pregame show. We'll all be here as well. You come down and meet Austin. Talk about why the Colts suck.
Hey, they can't suck yet. They haven't even played a game.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah,
They still do.
Guess we'll see.
But we're talking about the depth chart for Nebraska, not UTEP, for the Huskers, not the Miners, not this time. We'll talk about them later. What was your biggest surprise, if any, aside from the running backs with 25 oars, on this depth chart, offensive, defense, special teams?
Backup safety?
Backup safety. One of the backup safeties.
Derek Branch. Welcome to the depth
Lincoln,
chart.
Nebraska.
Lincoln Southeast finest. Matt Rhule mentioned him in his press conference today. Was down as a 4-year letter winner, 4-year player for the Huskers back in the early 90s. I get why they moved Marquise Buford from safety to corner. They must really like him, or Sierra Wright must not be ready yet. Bly Hill, I think there's a cut in there about him. Said he should be closer to ready for next week.
Got it right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bly Hill came back from the knee and was doing really well. And then just, sometimes you come back from an injury and it leads to another injury. So he got some soreness in his hamstring. So he's available. But I don't know how much you'll have to see how this week goes. So that was kind of an unfortunate remnant of this past week, just some tightness in his hamstring, nothing serious, but he's available, but I don't know how much he actually will play. So you're looking at, Sierra Wright, you're looking at all those guys, Amari Sanders, Jeremiah Charles, Larry Tarver, all those guys will be ready to go.
Those last 2 guys you mentioned are not on the depth chart. Jeremiah Charles and Larry Tarver are third string and beyond. The secondary, I don't want to say is a concern because I think the starters are there, but secondary depth is absolutely a question that I have right now. With Tommy Hill at corner, you feel pretty good. Amari Sanders, freshman from Miami, listed as his backup. You have Ramir Stewart, redshirt freshman out of Pennsylvania, listed as the backup behind Isaac Gifford at Rover. Not a guy that's seen the field with a red shirt. Hartzog with the move to safety, curious to see how that plays out. I'm used to him as a corner. I know he started last year off as a safety. I'm curious to see how that goes. But once, Bly Hill is fully healthy, if he steps into the starting role, or if Sierra Wright takes a step forward, do they move Marquise Buford back to safety, or do they keep him at corner? I think he was a really darn good corner. We saw how he and Singleton worked together in years past. I really like that tandem for Nebraska. And then even Singleton's backup, Kobe Bretz out of Omaha. This is the part of the conversation where I have to remind myself, this is what Matt Rhule wants. He wants developmental guys. He wants guys you might not have heard of necessarily to be in the program, to develop and work their way up the depth chart, right? Amari Sanders is a freshman. If they think he's ready for a backup cornerback role as a freshman, sure, he'll get tested when he gets in a game because he's going to play. Corners don't play every snap. They get banged up pretty easily. Tommy Hill might need a breather. Okay, they're probably going to test him. Probably going to be boom or bust. Then you get, Malcolm Hartzog. What is he? How does he take to safety? Are we down to Derek Branch? And I think a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, I've never heard of this guy. I'm not sure. Trust the coaching staff, right? I'm skeptical on the depth, but it's going to need to show up at some point this season. So this is what the coaches say is the week 1 depth chart. I'll take their word for it.
With all of the talk surrounding Sierra Wright, not surprised that he ended up at the second number 2 corner behind Marquise Buford. I guess what I don't know if surprised really is the right word, but Marquise Buford and Malcolm Hartzog, I thought with Buford coming back that they would move him back to safety and that Malcolm Hartzog would take over that corner spot that he played really well in as a true freshman when his number was called. But again, not going to be too upset with him at safety. Opposite Deshaun Singleton, getting him back from that injury is going to be huge for Nebraska. And Kobe Bretz is a guy who highly touted coming out of Westside, and you hear his name damn near every year, talking to coaches staff, talking about how he's improving and how well he's doing. And it's a name that really can't wait to see him on the field and see what he's able to do. To me, my biggest surprise, I got to find it real quick. Is and I don't know if it's actually a surprise, but Janiran Bonner starting at the slot wide receiver on the offensive side of the ball. Not to say that he hasn't earned it or that he's not the athlete and can go out there and do it. It's just the fact that he was a fullback last year. No fullback on the depth chart this year. No fullbacks listed. He was a fullback last year. They loved what he was able to do, loved everything about him, and now he's going to be starting in the slot for Nebraska's offense with Isaiah Garcia Castaneda backing him up. And then the freshman Carter Nelson at the third spot, where we had a text and somebody was asking how much we thought he was going to play. I don't see him playing a lot this year. I see him getting those 4 games probably and then redshirting.
If he's able to help the team, play him a lot. If he's not able to play, don't play him in any more than 4 games. I think there's a rule cut on Janiran Bonner. If you have that one pulled up, potentially.
I do.
Excellent. Let's hear from Matt Rhule.
I think anytime you have a guy that you can say is your starting slot receiver who was willing to be your starting fullback, there's something special about that type of guy. Their brain. He was an excellent high school receiver, had an injury. As we tried to find roles for him because we like just the way he plays football, it started to emerge, and then just was unable to keep that 225, 228 weight. And so as he kept staying around like 218, we just said, hey, let's put him in the slot and see how physical he can be, trying to win third down with, big people like that. And he's just done excellent. So, we can be in 11 personnel and all of a sudden get under center and have him be the fullback still. There's lots of things you can do with a guy like Janiran, but at the end of the day, he's just a winner. He's tough, really tough. He kind of emblematic of the type of guys I love to coach. And again, as we talk about positionless football, I think throughout the course of the year, you'll see him do a lot of things, the versatility that he brings.
You want to talk about positionless football, taking a guy from fullback, putting him a wide receiver. Now, again, like you said, he was an excellent receiver in high school, a great receiver in high school, and he came here and was more than willing to be a fullback for Nebraska this last season. But if you're not able to keep the weight on, might as well try him in the slot, put him back to the position that he was originally recruited for and see what can happen. Plus, your wide receiver room, yeah, he's a slot receiver. He's 6'2", 220 as a slot receiver, and your other starting receivers are 6'4", 6'4", and 6'4", both 220. This is from wide receiver rooms in the past. This is a tall receiving room
It really is. The other interesting part about Janarin Bonner starting at the slot is that obviously Carter Nelson's lumped into that conversation. He's another one of those positionless players. It's Isaiah Garcia Castaneda as the backup slot right now in his return to Nebraska. But it pushes Jalen Lloyd outside this year, which I had envisioned him in the slot. That's where Nebraska used him a fair amount of the time last year, but I think it's easier for him to utilize his speed on the boundary more so than over the middle and in the slot. So I see what they're going for there. It pushes Malachi Coleman down to third on the depth chart. Said he had a groin injury, but the way that Matt Rhule talked about Malachi Coleman, right? Sometimes when a guy's injured but has been doing a good job, Matt Rhule said, yeah, it was a bummer to see him go down. And, we hope the best for him. He's recovering well. He's doing some really good things in camp. Matt Rhule said, yeah, Malachi had a groin and, he's working his way back. And that's why he's third on the depth chart. There wasn't a lot to say there from Matt Rhule. And maybe I'm reading too far into it. Maybe it's nothing.
That's what we do.
But also maybe it's something. Maybe Matt Rhule's not sold on Malachi Coleman's future as a receiver. Maybe there's a position switch coming midseason or over the offseason. Or, maybe Malachi Coleman views himself as a receiver. Nebraska's got some talent, got some depth at the receiver position now. And maybe that says Malachi Coleman, might be a receiver somewhere else.
Maybe. He played defense in high school.
He did.
You already switched two receivers to defense.
You did.
You're working with a strangely put defensive backfield in terms of depth. Not to say it's going to happen, but it could. It definitely could, especially with, like you said, the way, the inflection and the things that he was saying when asked about him and when answering about Malachi Coleman. But aside from those positions, place kicker has an or. They're going to see what's up with Tristan Alvano. He's coming back from, what do you say, an ankle? Some type of injury.
Leg.
Yeah, leg injury. Tristan Alvano working his way back from that. They'll decide Thursday on who's going to do the place kicking duties. It's him and John Hull. So a sophomore and a redshirt freshman out of Lincoln. We'll see who ends up getting the place kicking duties there. For the most part, not many surprises outside of that on the depth chart, offensive or defensive. Aside from maybe thoughts on Mekhi Bayer, Stephon Thompson, Mekhi being the starter. Stephon, who again has played in a Tony White defense at Syracuse 2 years ago, coming in and backing up Mekhi Bayer, who had a good end to the season last year, was showing up, was popping on film.
Both guys are listed as juniors on the roster. I kind of like this Mekhi Bayer. I think Stephon Thompson, we watched some of his Syracuse highlights. Not a lot of splash plays. He's fine. I think he's a really good insurance policy. Maybe the Nebraska's had at backup linebacker for a few years. I think it's a great sign for Mekhi Bayer more than anything against Stephon Thompson. I was really excited for Vincent Shavers Jr. That was a long road for him to be able to make it all the way to a starter. But the fact that he's on the 2 deep listed as the backup behind John Bullock, I'm sure we see a lot of Vincent Shavers Jr. this year.
A surprising amount of I guess Ja'Cory Barney's listed like 3 times, but a surprising amount of freshmen on the depth chart. Yes or no?
Let's just work our way bottom up. So punt returner, Ja'Cory Barney, freshman, kick returner, freshman there as well. You have John Hull as the kickoff guy listed as an or with Brian Buschini. Backup punter, Camden Cook. Okay, yeah, whatever. John Hull and Tristan Alvano. I mean, Hull's a redshirt freshman as that competition comes down the stretch.
Still counts as a freshman.
Right. Ramir Stewart at Rover backing up Isaac Gifford is the one freshman you get till you get down to Shavers. Or I guess Amari Sanders is there as well. Vincent Jackson, third string nose tackle, not really the 2 deep, and there's not an or, so I'm not really going to count that one. The youth is really on the offense on the 2 deep, really. I mean, you get Rhule and Kalen's third string, so I don't count him, but Rhule is starter there. Barney's going to play a pretty big role, I think, as a freshman. Carter Nelson, I guess we'll see. Gunnar Gatula is out, but he's the backup behind Bryce Benhart right now. Sam Sledge as the backup center. And then Grant Segrin backing up Turner Corcoran at left tackle.
And Jason Mashishak. Sorry. Got to get that Mashishak. Third at left guard.
Right. I'm just trying to count just through the 2 deep there. Yeah. But Grant Segrin is not a name we'd heard a lot of throughout fall camp.
Nope.
So that was another question that popped up, and I'm glad we circled back here. Corcoran is back. Seems like he's over the ankle injury that he was working through after the open practice back when, fall camp started. He's going to need to be. He's going to need to be solid. Otherwise, Nebraska's got questions because Gatula is iffy right now with an ankle. Again, Rhule said he should be back next week. And then you're down to Grant Seagren, apparently. It's like, again, trust the coaching staff. This is the guy they think is there, but it doesn't exactly inspire a whole lot of confidence for me.
No, please don't be iffy. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it till the cows come home. And I understand some of these guys are redshirt freshmen, so they've been in the program for a year. Those trenches, offensive, defensive line, tough for a young guy to start at. Tough for a young guy to get in there and hold his own against grown men, seniors and juniors who have been doing it for multiple years and who have more understanding of the collegiate game than those younger guys. So please don't be iffy. Please let the offensive line stay healthy. But with that, we're going to go to another break. We're pushing it. We went a little long on that one, but it's okay. It's the depth chart. It's the first depth chart of the year. It's important to go over it with a fine-tooth comb and find all of the problems that we have that will absolutely not be fixed because we are not the coaches and we do not make any of those decisions. But we'll be right back. Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Get your season tickets today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to Huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for this unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Experience a cleaner tomorrow with Niederhaus Refuse. Whether it's weekly residential pickups, large-scale commercial disposals, recycling, or roll-off, Niederhaus's team is here with reliable, efficient service and the most advanced solutions. Discover the difference that a committed and experienced waste management company can make. Niederhaus Refuse has been in business for over 100 years and is family-owned and operated since 1921. Call Niederhaus Refuse at 402-475-8361 and visit their website at nbrefuselincoln.com to learn more or sign up for your service today.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
The internet headache always starts in the contract. Buffering, hidden fees, connectivity problems, regular outages. What a pain in the asterisk. But there's a cure and a way to stay connected, headache-free with Allo Fiber. No contracts, no secret fees, no robots repeating the same thing over and over. Just fast-acting, painless internet, doctor's orders. Break free from fine print misery. Switch to Allo Fiber now to get real speed and support simplified. Visit allofiber.com/breakfree to switch today.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket. Rico, Austin, and joined by a very special guest, a person whose name's actually on the show, Nick Sainert.
What's up, gentlemen?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's
It's officially game week, and you can feel it down at the stadium. There's construction going on, getting things ready. The big giant trucks for bottles of water and pop are loading up Memorial Stadium. Parking, you could tell that school was back in session because parking was non-existent. And
Love that for you.
I saw a lot of meter people out and about. So there it is in full swing. Because if you park down there, and I know this as somebody that goes to press conferences, if you park down there in the parking spot and you get ticketed, it's not $10 like it is
40
in the yes, it is
I'm sorry,
$40
Yep.
on university property.
Whoa.
So yeah, like that's why when you say, "Oh, Nick, you got a ticket out here," I'm like, "Oh, it's $10. I can get 4 of those before I get the one at the university." So and I give credit to Nebraska football. They do give us little parking passes for garage, but it's a much longer walk. And on a day like today, it is very hot. But no, ultimately it's good. It's game week, and you can feel the buzz.
What was it like in the presser? What was the feeling? Or are we excited?
I mean,
or was it?
I think
the needles.
As it is every single year, I think they're ready to hit somebody that's not wearing the same colors as them in jersey. I think there's. I would say this: there was a sense of not comfort, but I think that's really the only word I can really go with right now, because there's a lot of answered questions. Like there's only a few spots where there's really up in the air what's going to happen. And that's running back, obviously, which I know you guys talked about. Maybe we can get to that here in a little bit. Kicker, which, yeah, it's like a question, but ultimately it's going to sort itself out. Like there's, fortunately enough for Nebraska, they get UTEP week 1 and yeah, week 2 kind of in the middle there with Colorado. It kind of puts a wrench into things. But even you have then Northern Iowa after that before you really got to get it figured out in conference play. Sure, yeah, the kicking game is important, the running back game is important, or room is important, and the offensive line spot. But they also have like answers to this, and whether they're productive and quality answers, that's subjective, I suppose. And what I mean by that is like Gunnar Gatula is an example where he's facing an injury right now, which certainly is not good, but there's an answer to when he's back, right? Like here we are going into week 1 and there's complete transparency of, Gunnar's going to be out for 1 week. He's going to be available in an emergency situation. Same with Henry Latovsky. They're both back next week. Okay, it's not great for week 1, but it certainly could be worse, right? It could be an extended period of time that they're out, right? Running backs, he was up front with it. He goes, we have 4 guys that, we feel like we could play. I'll be honest, I wish we were a little more dialed in than where we are right now, but we'll make the decision before we start Big Ten play in 4 weeks. And he said, and I think this is self-explanatory, it's probably going to sort itself out by about week 2. Like if there's truly somebody that really wants to take that job, whether it's Gabe Ervin, whether it's Emmett, whether it's Ramir, or whether it's Dante Dowdell, it's, they're still going to play a couple of guys, but for the most part, it'll probably sort itself out within the next couple of weeks.
Rhule seemed a little annoyed when he was answering that question.
Yeah. I mean,
not about the question,
but about the situation.
Yeah. About the fact that none of the running backs have stepped up.
And I think that's honestly, it's okay. I think what's wild is just there's 4 guys in that room, and we knew it was going to be a question mark going into it. I think, not to play the hypothetical curiosity game and using hindsight, but like, what if through the portal they would have gotten Dylan Edwards from Colorado? We know it was a 2-school race. We know that at one point Dylan Edwards was pretty high on Nebraska coming out of high school in the state of Kansas. I believe he's from Derby, Kansas is where Dylan Edwards is. And he would have come in and I think honestly probably challenged for that number 1 spot. And for Nebraska to where there's no clear cut number 1, I think it'd be really interesting if they were able to go get him out of the portal. But ultimately Kansas State came calling and he wanted to move, a little closer to home from where he was at in Boulder, Colorado. I think he would have given Nebraska a really dynamic option in the backfield that maybe they don't have. We talked about it last week where the whole running back by committee thing is fine, but you also need to have the ability to give a guy the ball 20 plus times a game. And I think Matt Rhule really wants to do that to an extent, but to your point, Rico, sounds kind of annoyed. Like, you know what? We wish we were a little more dialed in than where we're at right now, but ultimately it's going to sort itself out.
We should get to a break.
Let's take a break.
We went too long on the second segment because we like the depth chart, but now we're going to get Nick's take on the depth chart. You've heard from Austin and myself.
Yeah. And Austin's always more than welcome to stick around and give his thoughts if he wants to. I definitely want to get into Janier Bonner if you guys haven't. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it too. Janier Bonner is a very, very interesting topic of discussion, I think, today. He's been talked up all season long, but there was still some surprise to see him at that slot position. The whole Dylan Raiola, not having any reign on Dylan Raiola, made me realize that, we can't quantify or say that every single mistake that he makes this year is a freshman growing pain. I think we're going to have to treat him like Matt Rhule is going to treat him in the starting quarterback in Nebraska, and he's held to that expectation, right? Similar to how people maybe viewed Adrian Martinez just a couple of years ago. So I think there's a couple of different things that we can certainly get into.
All right, we'll get into that in the next hour because it's 2 hours of the happy hour here on 93.7 The Ticket. Rico, Nick, Austin, we'll be right back.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been told by your physician that your testosterone level is fine, but you don't feel fine? Get a second opinion. If your testosterone level is 200, 350, even 500, and you still have symptoms, come to Limitless Male. We treat the person and the symptoms, not the number. Our mission is for you to feel optimal again. So if you're tired all the time, no energy, brain fog, muscle loss, nothing left in the tank, get your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Tottenham beat Everton 4-0, while Fulham took down Leicester City 2-1, and Arsenal shut out Aston Villa 2-0. On Sunday, Bournemouth tied Newcastle 1-1, followed by Wolves falling to Chelsea 6-2. To cap off Sunday action, Liverpool beat Brentford 2-0. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Get your season tickets today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for this unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
A new school year is here with summer coming to an end, and it's time to get into proper shoes. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this August with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoe with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. Don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start the fall season off right with the August athletic shoe sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Steinert's Rico, Austin Orman's hanging out. What's up, Austin? Hello, Rico.
Thanks for letting me stick around.
I'm glad you guys are. It's going to be good. It's game week. We're enjoying it. It's going to be, I don't know. Last week felt like it took a marathon to complete.
It was the longest week.
I'm curious. I don't know. Monday's gone pretty quick here today. I think I will say this, and maybe, I mean, please tell me if I'm wrong, guys.
You're wrong.
But I find out that during like the season, once week 1 gets here, it goes by within the blink of the eye. And what I mean by that is, so like for my day specifically, it goes from like Monday is Matt Rhule, and we're starting to get the press conference, excuse me, the schedule out and figured out. Monday is Matt Rhule. Tuesday are the coordinators with like 5 to 8 players they'll give us every Tuesday. Nothing on Wednesday. There's usually a coach's show on Thursday, or rather, excuse me, coach's show on Wednesday night. Matt Rhule again on Thursday. Friday is just getting ready for the game, and then Saturday's game day. So it's broken up, and it feels like every single day we got something to do, we need to do something. So it goes by in the blink of an eye.
Get a chance to catch your breath on Wednesday, and then the big final deep breath before the game on Saturday.
Which I don't know. Is there a lot of deep breaths going on before this Saturday?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe not opponent specific, but you never want to overlook someone. But I think that it's just in general a pretty deep breath moment for Husker fans.
It's a year 2.
Here we go again. Let's go. Fire up.
You got year 2 true freshman at quarterback who we're not going to treat like a freshman at quarterback. So I feel like there's a decent amount of deep breathing. Maybe not to calm the nerves, but just to relax and realize, hey, it's good. It's all good. Maybe, hopefully.
Center yourself.
Yeah, 402-464-5685. What are the feelings here on game week? Because honestly, shoot us a text, give us a call, whatever you would prefer. What are the feelings on game week? Because I get the sense that everybody's kind of just looking forward to game 2, and this is strictly fan base centric. I don't get that feeling down in Memorial Stadium or at the Hawks this morning, but I get the feeling that like we're all sitting here going like, yeah, let's look at week 2. We got tons of, Nebraska has tons of recruits coming in. By the way, nobody's going to have as many as Texas A&M Notre Dame this weekend. Over 100 prospects will be on campus for Mike Elko's first game against Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. It's going to be unfortunate that it'll result in a home loss for the Aggies, but ultimately,
love this.
Ultimately,
I love the dedication that you have.
I am going to straight up watch it. Riley Leonard's good. Riley Leonard's good. Anyway,
the Duke product.
The Duke product. But no, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what are the feelings ahead of Saturday's game? Because it feels comfortable. And maybe that's because there's not a question at quarterback or who's going to be starting. I think maybe this is the best Nebraska fans have felt about the quarterback position in recent memory.
I think it's 3 prongs as to why that could be. Number 1, I think Matt Rhule. We've heard from him relatively consistently throughout the offseason, which I think is good. And he's so good at talking, right? Yes. He projects confidence. He goes into a press conference, a gaggle, whatever, with a plan, and he sticks to that plan. He's reassuring when he talks. I think that's a big reason why. I think Husker fans still forever and always will love their defense. You have a lot of upperclassmen back on defense from a unit that I think surprised not just Husker fans, but the rest of the country last year with how good it was that early under Tony White. Now, other teams will adjust to the defense. How does Nebraska respond? But I think there's a lot of trust in the defense. Then I think there's just an innate, inherent sense of trust in Dylan Rhule. It's a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, maybe that's bad.
There's more hype about, maybe not more hype, but I think the Dylan Rhule excitement and hype is understandable because I feel like Husker fans think they know him, one of us and whatnot. Whereas Adrian Martinez was, oh, look, a new, exciting, flashy, bright toy.
Yeah.
There's really cool things. I think there was maybe more hype, unadulterated hype for Adrian, given it was, true freshman starting quarterback with the Scott Frost era. I think Matt Rhule's done a really good job where there probably should be more excitement for Dylan Rhule than there was Adrian Martinez. There probably has been. But I think Matt Rhule's handled it a lot better, and he's making people feel a lot more calm instead of anxious about a true freshman starting quarterback.
So to me, it's exactly what you're saying is this season is extremely hyped, and there's a lot of excitement going into it. But at the same time, there's a feeling of calmness going into the season because it's year 2 of Matt Rhule. And it's Dylan Rhule, the 5-star quarterback, one of us. His dad's name is on the stadium, coming in here to lead the way at quarterback. And on top of that, you kept your defensive coordinator and you have a very old defense on the other side of the ball. So there's a lot of calmness in the thought of, also to the fact that last year's offense was so bad that people are thinking, look, it can't get much worse. And also the defense is still here. So even if it is a bad offense, the defense still has the ability to help you stay in a lot of these games. So it's a lot of hype, but still a calming presence. And it's a very strange combination.
What if there was an underrated piece of Nebraska's roster or just program that may be providing comfort in ways that maybe we're not referencing enough? Nebraska has the same offensive coordinator. Like there's that piece too. Think back to.
I don't think that's comforting for some Husker fans.
It's not, and maybe it's not
Continuity
comforting. Maybe it's not comforting specifically, but there's continuity that maybe makes you feel a little bit more confident, I guess, overall.
And you had a guy that both guys have worked with, and Glenn Thomas, which I think adds to that.
Hopefully a bridge, right? But I mean, think back to, and I'm going to mess up the order, but going back from like 2018, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first time where they had the same offensive coordinator in back-to-back years.
We got 2 years of Troy Walters.
Troy Walters.
And then you have 2 years of Lubick or just one?
I
think it was just one.
I thought you just
Frost
had.
was here for 4 and change. So didn't you have 2 of Walters,
one of Lubick,
and
one
then
of Whipple?
He hired Whipple, but then that was the interim with Mickey. Because
You're right.
Frost was here for 4 years and change.
That's right.
It wasn't just 4 years. It was 4 years and change. Trev gave him the 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 2 of Troy Walters, 2 of
2018,
Lubick, and then
2019.
Mark Whipple was there under
Yes.
Mickey Joseph.
Yes. But even before that,
Scott Frost.
Yeah.
So, man, I just like, there's that piece that maybe we're not even referencing at all. There's a lot we want to get to. There was a question posed to Matt Rhule today about how are guys handling the moment? How are guys handling the expectations, the excitement of it? Let me know if you can find that one.
How
Rico.
has he seen guys stay locked
There
in?
you go. Beautiful. That one. Let's hear from Matt Rhule.
Yeah, they've been they have their own saying. That's not mine. They say one better, and I think they've done that. They try to get one better every day. I think Corey or someone did that, and they stick to it. Not everything's perfect, but again, like, there's just a core group of veteran guys that just kind of make the thing go. So, I think you're going to have everyone who starts on defense, but maybe one guy is a senior. Is that correct? Or could be a senior. Still some COVID years out there and some injury, but pretty much everyone's a senior, right? So when everyone asked last year, why is the defense so much further ahead of the offense? There's a lot of guys on defense that played a ton. Well, now what you're seeing on offense is you're starting to see the guys who've weathered the storm. They're getting a little bit older now, so hopefully, there's that mix. So I think they've done a good job.
The offense's growth open up stats.
That's probably good. Sorry, I missed that.
Nope,
that one. There's 7 seniors on Nebraska's defense. 7 seniors and the rest juniors. The 4 juniors: Jamari Butler, who's got the number 1 spot at that defensive end position; Mekhi Bayer, who's got one of the linebacker spots locked down; and then 2 of your defensive backs, Marquise Buford and Malcolm Hartzog Jr. A name that was intriguing on this depth chart that was released earlier this morning was Derek Branch, the Lincoln Southeast native.
That's the name that Austin noticed.
And that was a name that was surprising there. You look at another at that safety position, Kobe Bretz from Omaha West Side as a junior. It feels like this staff is pretty high, and this is a compliment to Sierra Wright. He's come in fairly late in the process and feels like he's going to play a pretty big part in every single thing Nebraska does defensively. It talks about guys that will fill in the void for Bly Hill while he works his way back. Sierra Wright was the first name that Matt Rhule mentioned today. So yeah, as he points out, and somebody on the text line said this as well. Big Bird, no sophomores or younger starting on the defense. I think that's a really good thing for this year. But then, and it's probably not great to look ahead, but let's do it just for the purpose of conversation. There's a very high possibility that you lose your defensive coordinator this year. There's a lot of guys, at least 7 of your starting 11, that will be moving on after this year because of collegiate eligibility reasons.
That's crazy.
And so instantly the topic of conversation next year becomes, how do they fill the void? So just as much as we talked about continuity from 23 to now 24, how about the lack thereof that's coming if not developed properly from 24 to 25? That puts a lot of weight on some of those younger guys this season.
It does, but let's just go down the list on the defensive side. Ty Robinson gone. Riley Van Poppel needs to show more, but you feel pretty good about him.
Yeah.
From the flashes he showed. Nose tackle's a big question for me. I mean, I know Elijah Judy's listed as the backup. He's got to show something. Nose is a question. Other defensive end, Cam Lenhart, feel pretty good about that one. Or, James Williams, maybe he takes a step forward. John Bullock will leave. Heard nothing but good things about Vincent Shavers Jr. Both Bayer and Thompson are listed as juniors. You have both those guys back next year, potentially. MJ Sherman out. Good things about Prince William Monmielen.
Yeah.
If you're able to keep him. Then the defensive backfield, that's what Rico and I talked about the depth. You don't get through a season just playing your top 5 DBs in a 3-3-5. So I'm not worried about reps for guys behind them. So we'll see who makes the most of the reps they get.
Yeah. Once again, Derek Branch, he was asked about Derek Branch. Matt Rhule was Derek Branch and Ramir Stewart, because believe it or not, Ramir Stewart wasn't even brought in at the start of all of this. He was not making weight. And so here's what Matt Rhule had to say on those two guys, who, by the way, are listed. One of them is listed as the backup safety, and the other one, Ramir Stewart, listed as the backup rover behind Isaac Gifford. Here's Matt Rhule.
Yeah, Derek's done a great job. Derek was a guy that we kept up last year. He's a legacy player. He's just a smart, heady, tough football player. He's dependable, does things right. So he's getting an opportunity right now to play on some special teams as well. But Ramir, I held him out from the season. It's really been his weight, being where it's supposed to be. And to his credit, he handled that. And when he showed back up at camp, he showed back up, and he was in good shape. His weight was down, and he got an opportunity. He played the way we're not capable of playing. See, we believe that Ramir's a really good football player, and he just is going to have to. He just had to cut loose a little bit. So he's in the mix. He'll play on teams, and keep his weight down about 205. When he's at 205, he's an excellent safety.
Currently listed at 210, so maybe still a little bit of work to do there for Ramir Stewart, the redshirt freshman out of Philly. But this was also, that was also a guy that Nebraska coaches, and like Matt Rhule just said there, they were high on him coming out of high school. They were very high. He was listed as a 3-star prospect, one of those that I remember specifically at signing day press conferences. Matt Rhule was, this might be the steal of the class, Ramir Stewart at that defensive back position. But like you said, held him out at the beginning because of weight reasons. And then this is something that he talked about last year. He had to hold some guys out because of weight. Didn't want to play him because of weight. I think Josh Fleeks was the one that he called out specifically by name, saying he was just dramatically overweight at the start of the spring or fall, if I remember correctly. And so they needed to fix that. But Josh Fleeks did that last year. Obviously had maybe the highlight of the Michigan game for Nebraska when he scored the touchdown in the fourth quarter. But here's Ramir Stewart, who's listed at 5'11", 210 pounds. And I would imagine that especially at 5'11", if you are a little overweight, you're not going to be able to move as well at that rover defensive back position. So like Matt Rhule said, you need to get down to 205 or around that area. Another person, because they mentioned somebody, and I'm blanking on the name, was at 218. I think was that Ramir Stewart that they mentioned?
That was Janiran
Bonner. That's right, which we will talk about in the next segment. Also want to get to a Dylan Raiola conversation because the quarterback is going to be the talk of the town on Saturday afternoon when Nebraska gets ready for UTEP, the Miners, and the youngest college football coach in the country at 34 years old. How about that?
I still got time to get my life in order. We're good.
3 years older than me.
And he's going to be coaching.
And he has 2 conference championships.
That is right. Youngest college football coach in the country in Scotty Walden. We'll talk about that as well throughout the course of the shows this week. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. You can always follow the show there, as well as on our mobile app, which works everywhere. So if you're driving in for the game, wherever you may be driving from and you can't get our FM signal, make sure you download that app, or you can always tune in on our website, theticketfm.com. The show sponsored by our friends at Empire Fence and Netting. Give them a call today for all your needs. We'll step aside, come back, talk quarterbacks right after this on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The internet headache always starts in the contract. Buffering, hidden fees, connectivity problems, regular outages. What a pain in the asterisk. But there's a cure and a way to stay connected, headache-free with Aloe Fiber. No contracts, no secret fees, no robots repeating the same thing over and over. Just fast-acting, painless internet, doctor's orders. Break free from fine print misery. Switch to Aloe Fiber now to get real speed and support simplified. Visit aloefiber.com/breakfree to switch today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies, and it will be hot. We'll see an afternoon high around 104. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and storms, otherwise mainly clear with the low near 71. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers and storms, otherwise mostly sunny with the high around 91. I'm meteorologist Kyle Puck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered. Whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Experience a cleaner tomorrow with Niederhaus Refuse. Whether it's weekly residential pickups, large-scale commercial disposals, recycling, or roll-off, Niederhaus's team is here with reliable, efficient service and the most advanced solutions. Discover the difference that a committed and experienced waste management company can make. Niederhaus Refuse has been in business for over 100 years and is family-owned and operated since 1921. Call Niederhaus Refuse at 402-475-8361 and visit their website at nbrefuselincoln.com to learn more or sign up for your service today.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I don't believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick, Rico, and Austin. Austin's hanging out. Appreciate him doing a couple extra hours of radio today.
Should have got here earlier. I would have thrown you on the captain.
Well, you didn't tell me you needed me to fill for character until 10:30 when I got to the parking garage. So
Yeah, well,
if you would have told me
communication,
at 9:30.
Rico.
I did.
To be fair, my
We all have
my
phones.
mother-in-law does not make it down until 10:30 to watch the young one. So
Do you want me to be honest too?
How is the young one? No, because I know it's coming and it's not good to say.
No.
So
it's I forgot Bach wasn't working.
There you go. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's
Not
fine.
good to say.
That's fine.
How is little Herbie?
great. We spent the weekend out in far western Nebraska.
That's right.
By which I mean Grand Island.
It's central.
Central
Nebraska.
Western. It's western Nebraska.
It's not
We'll
western
go
Nebraska.
over this. He was a trooper through 4.5 hours to the state fair.
Okay.
I
In
was
the
very
heat.
proud of him. Yes. He made it. We kept him cool as best we could, in and out of buildings, air conditioning, and whatnot.
Give some
And
cotton
then
candy.
for the first, no, we did not get him any. We are not under the sugar.
He's like
phase.
one.
Yes, he's not
And?
even one.
He's not even 1 year
You
old.
don't have to chew it. It dissolves in your mouth.
Yeah, you can still get some gum damage. That's
Yeah.
called prevent.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're not going to do
Fine.
that. And then we, well, for the first time, I've been. Olivia and I have known each other for 7 years and change now. 4th wedding anniversary is coming up. I'd never
Congrats.
helped her family with their corn picking day.
That's right.
So we did that yesterday, and that was a grind, but it was good. Again, he made it through. He's a trooper.
Where at?
Ravenna.
Thank you for saying it correctly.
Again, western Nebraska.
It's not Ravenna.
It's not.
Ravenna.
Ravenna.
You say it with like the Savannah accent.
Okay.
Ask Chris,
Ravenna.
ask Chris Basnett.
Yeah, you got Baz.
Okay, cool. Anyway,
That's called transition.
Anyway.
402-464-5685. I'm looking over. It's always fun. Game notes season. Game notes that we get emailed out, and they print the physical copies for us at the pressers.
Love the physical.
You can check them out on the Huskers.com if you like to. But just this week's numbers, they always do little cool stat pieces. This week's numbers, 2 of them strictly.
Strictly?
Yeah, Strictly sticks out to me. Dylan Rhule is expected to start at quarterback against UTEP. That would be such a letdown if he doesn't. If Rhule, I mean, can we talk? In all honesty, if Dylan Rhule is not taking the field on Saturday, man, what a storyline we'll have.
Can you imagine? They're just like messing with people. They're just like, all right, Heinrich, get out there. He takes the first snap and then they swap back out.
If Rhule does start against the Miners, which, by the way, it's the first time in school history that Nebraska is going to be facing off against UTEP, Dylan would join Adrian Martinez as the only true freshman quarterback to start a season opener
in school history. The other number that sticks out to me is 42. Offensive tackle Bryce Benhart is expected to start at right tackle against UTEP. Can you imagine if I'm kidding? The start would be the 42nd start of Bryce Benhart's career and would establish a new record for career starts by a Husker offensive lineman.
Woo. Imagine telling yourself that 3 years ago.
Bryce Benhart is
You
going
would
to
think.
start.
Hold on. If we would have told everybody 3 years ago, Bryce Benhart will have the most starts for an offensive tackle in school history going into game 1 of year 4, we would think that his career would be looking a lot different right now.
Very much so.
Right?
If you tell me
we're talking serious potential in an NFL draft pick.
Right. If you tell me this 3 years ago after we've seen a rough year from him, I think a lot of people said, nope, there's no way. He's too tall. He doesn't move well enough. There's no shot. But you didn't realize there'd be a coaching change and that, the staff would believe in him, put him in this position to succeed. So I think more than anything, it's a testament to his work and his development with the coaching staff, more so than any talent or potential he had coming out of high school.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, like Turner Corcoran's got to be close to that. I mean, close to the number on the other side of the line. I know he's had more injuries than Bryce, obviously. But Turner Corcoran's got to be somewhat closer.
Was he the year after Bryce, or were they the same year?
They were the same year. They were the same year because then you had to start both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been going back and forth on like the level of concern for the offensive line this year. It's going to be difficult to judge against UTEP potentially. UTEP does have a very good linebacker in Maurice Westonhouse. Westmoreland.
Yep.
Maurice Westmoreland is the guy. Matt Rhule called him today. He called him an NFL guy, disruptor in that defense for UTEP. But like once again, is you hope that Nebraska is able to kind of have their way on Saturday, and they need to. Like it's time. Year 2 for Matt Rhule. It's what you're preaching. Even in a time where the running backs are up in the air, the situation at running back is up in the air. Doesn't matter. It can't matter. You need to have your way with these guys on Saturday.
What makes you guys feel more comfortable about the rest of the year? That Nebraska puts on a clinic in the first half, vibes are high, vibes are good, they're putting on a show, lots of highlights, or would you rather see Nebraska just be workmanlike? Let's say the game ends up like 45-10. Would you rather see 2 like huge blitzes of scoring where Nebraska puts up like 21 points in one stretch and 24 in another? Or would you rather see Nebraska just score like a touchdown or 2 each quarter?
I want the latter of those two. I think the consistency piece is key. I think sustainability is something that Nebraska's lacked dramatically over these last couple of years. While yes, it's only year 2 of Matt Rhule, I think from a program standpoint, they've lacked sustainability, especially on offense. The ability to say, all right, you know what? When we need some points, whether it's in the first quarter to start the game or whether it's in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes left on the clock, and you either need to put a game out of reach or you need to come back. Nebraska, there's just been so little confidence in their ability to move the ball down the field. And I think maybe back in like 2018, 2019, we thought that was going to go away with an offensive-minded head coach, and it obviously did not. Nebraska struggled, right? Whether that was, once again, sustainability at running the football, consistency at throwing and completing passes, it just wasn't there. The decision-making from guys was not there. So what that tells me, the latter of those two options, is number one, you're consistent. You have an idea of what you want to do offensively, which has been not necessarily the case. And number 3 is that you're not turning over the football. You're having good decision-making by guys. They're paying attention to the little things because that has not been there the last few years.
Can I ask for a mix of both where Nebraska has the ability to just grind it out, go down the field, sustain drives, as Nick said, show the ability to not turn the ball over and to just get your job done. You're either running down the field at a consistent rate or the short passes are working, but also just like two drives where you have a big play.
I think a lot of that's not going to be able to be talked about after Saturday, though. Like we're not going to be able to. It's going to be too small of a sample size.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be way too small of a sample size. So this is going to be like a conversation that we'll have to revisit, 2 months down the road when Nebraska's in week 8 and going into Columbus or out of Columbus. Like that will be the conversation after Ohio State in week 8 or whatever week it is, where it's how did Nebraska fare in the turnover margin prior to the game in Columbus? But now, and how did that change, if it changed at all, out of Columbus? How do we view this team's ability to take care of the football? Certain players will be able to look at decision-making, mainly Dylan Rhule in this case, and it's decision-making. And then a couple of those offseason injuries, how did guys step up? Or was there a dramatic difference from when Bly Hill got back to where it was almost like a gap, like we've seen at quarterback the last couple of years between DB1 and DB2?
Like in this game, if you tell me that Nebraska is averaging 5-6 yards, in this game specifically against UTEP, 5-6 yards a carry, and they're just, again, workmanlike down the field, I would feel really good about that. But also, I feel like there's a need to be able to show that you can score quickly. You can have that explosive play, whether it comes from a running back or a wide receiver. Hell, even if you get a defensive touchdown, the ability to score quickly, I think, is imperative for Nebraska, but not as imperative as that workman-like mentality and being able to hold on to the ball and get down the field.
I know you've had thoughts, Austin. I want to get to you. I think on that point, though, is if you provide that workman-like kind of approach, then the little stuff comes. Then the flashier stuff, the ability for a big play break. I thought Matt Rhule said something very, very notable this morning. And it was, last year we were blocking for 4 yards and we'd get 4 yards. This year we need to block for 4 and get 9. We need to block for 4 and get 12. What that tells me is you need guys that are able just to make plays on their own. I think that was what made like running back is such an easy position to talk about this with, because even in the 2010s, more recent, the Amir Abdullahs, the Roy Halus, the Rex Burkheads, what did they do so well? They made guys miss. Nebraska hasn't had that. There's been flashes, right? But ultimately, Nebraska hasn't had a guy in the backfield that's been able to consistently make somebody miss, make a play on their own, whether that's a jump cut, whether that's a spin, whatever it is. What made Amir and Roy and Rex in that stretch so talented and deadly in the backfield, dynamic, is their ability to, if a play did break down or somebody got past the offensive line, which is going to happen this year especially, they were able to make a guy miss 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then break it off for 6. That's the same as this, where even if Nebraska's offensive line can only get a couple of yards open for a running back to, run 3-4 yards, what can they do in the second level to either escape and have an 80-yard touchdown run, or make a 4-yard gain to make it 2nd and 6, make it 2nd and 2? How can they go that extra step on their own without the offensive line's help?
The defense will always be at an advantage in the run game because you're not blocking your quarterback.
You're
so
right.
right there, it's 11 on 10.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, you're handing the ball off to the running back. So essentially it's 11 tacklers on 9 potential blockers. The way that I think a lot of people want to scheme up the run game is so you always have one extra helmet than the defenders do.
Yeah.
Right. That's ideal, but it doesn't always work that way, right? Defense's game plan against you two. They get hatched to the ball. More often than not, you're checking out of a run if you're down a helmet. You'll pass the ball instead because you don't want to be at that numbers disadvantage. Most frequently, you're going to be even if you count the running back and accounting for the running back having a defender as his responsibility. Nebraska's running backs haven't been as good, to your point, Nick, of owning that responsibility of my offensive line, my receivers, my tight ends did their job. They occupied a man. I got one to beat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's tight quarters. Maybe I got to make him miss in the phone booth. Maybe I got to run through him in the phone booth. But Nebraska's running backs haven't been able to account for their own man nearly often enough recently.
And maybe that's indicative of Nebraska's talent at the running back position, right? Like even going back a few years, like the Marquis Steps, you knew that wasn't the type of, he's not the jump cut agility type of back. He was more so going to be the downhill runner, go right through you. Same with Jaquez Yant. But like even Maurice Washington was one where it feels like Nebraska's just missed on having somebody that has breakaway speed.
I think Maurice Washington was probably that last, but like he had the breakaway speed, but I don't think he was the make somebody like he was just outrunning everybody.
Well, and that's part of it. I think, but like I look at these guys now on this roster, the running back room, the 4 that were listed, right? The 4 that are going to be playing on Saturday per Matt Rhule, and whatever order you want to put them in. Rahmir, Emmett, Gabe Ervin, and Dante Dowdell. Dante Dowdell is intriguing. Doesn't probably have the breakaway speed that we're looking for. Gabe Ervin, health is always going to be a factor until it's not. Health is always going to be something for Gabe. Also, he's just a big fella, 6'1", 220. Like he's going to be him and Dowdell. I look at pretty similar to where Dowdell is 6'2", 225, and Gabe Ervin is 6'1", 220. Then you have a little bit of a quicker guy in Emmett Johnson. I think he gives you your best chance at having that breakaway speed. Now, he's not number 1, though, on the depth chart. They're all co-starters. So something is holding him back, or something is holding the staff back from giving him that number 1 job.
Well, I don't think you have to have the breakaway speed guy. I think Nebraska just has to have running backs that are fast enough.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The first 3 steps when you get to the second level, you make the linebacker miss, you have to change the defensive back's angle, right?
Yeah.
He's coming down. You have 3 steps to change the pursuit angle from the backside, right? Amir Abdullah, by his own admission, was not the fastest running back in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Rex Burkhead was not the fastest running back there. But once they hit that second level, they were fast enough to keep defenders at bay, right? Even like Roy Halou.
And they were good at multiple things.
Good at multiple things, right?
Yeah.
They were a 7 out of 10 at pretty much everything, and maybe an 8 out or a 9 at something else. Amir was shifty, had great vision. Rex Burkhead, it was the balance. Roy Halou is probably an 8 out of 10 at pretty much everything. I couldn't tell you what he was best at.
Yeah.
But he could do it all. Whereas it seems like Nebraska, and you look at this list, has a bunch of one-trick ponies, which isn't bad. It just takes more careful management.
Yeah, management's a key. And we'll see how E.J. Barthel and Marcus Satterfield and obviously Matt Rhule at the top, they all decide playing time and carries and things like that. Rahmir Johnson, 5'10", 200. I mean, the guy's been here for a long time. Rahmir Johnson has, and just that one, just under 600 yards on the season back in 2021, on a season where he started 5th on the depth chart. I mean, Scott Frost even said it. He started 5th on the depth chart and ended up being Nebraska's leading rusher. I think that's pretty accurate to a way to describe the running back room over the last 10 years or so, prior to this year. So,
all right. So who's the guy that's not on the depth chart right now that's going to lead the team in rushing?
Well, that's what's
Mekhi
crazy.
Nelson, step on up.
There it is.
It's
Quentin
Mekhi.
Ives. Somebody asked about Quentin Ives earlier.
Quentin Ives isn't on here. Maurice Mazuka isn't on here. But once again, it's like, they certainly don't give you the ultimate confidence. I also don't know, looking at these 4 names, I don't know, looking at these 4 names, like, do we see a Divino Zigbo type in here? I don't see the offense providing an opportunity for a Divino Zigbo type.
Is Gabe Ervin the Divino Zigbo candidate?
If there was one where I would
be the closest.
I think he'd be the closest. Not a lot of people are thinking about him. It's a lot of Emmett Johnson, Dante Dowdell discussion.
He was the dude 3 years ago.
Started 2021, true freshman. He was the starting running back. Got hurt against Oklahoma down in Norman, and that's when Rahmir Johnson took over. You guys know I'm high on Gabe Ervin, but I mean, I'll be the first one to admit it. Put my right hand up and go, yeah, you know what? Health is always going to be a topic of conversation with Gabe Ervin Jr. until it's not.
Craig.
My laptop died mid-segment here, so I don't got text
Craig says
line.
you guys are not thinking pass blocking for the prize quarterback is of most importance right now. Pass blocking is a skill. If pass blocking is what keeps a running back off the field, stop. If you can run the ball, give him the ball.
Yeah, I also
just get in the way, get run over. That's all you have to do.
That's number 3.
I think it's also going to be important for Dylan to get hit this year.
It's gonna
is he the Andrew Luck guy that needs to get hit to get woken up and ready to go?
Let's put a stop. Let's stop it right there, because I think I think there's the Dylan Riola conversation that we need to have, and I think the spillover is a good spot for it, because we can bring in Strick and get your guys' thoughts on that. 402-464-5685. We'll step aside, finish out that show coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Early break, and then a week after retirement, he was flipping burgers in a what would you call that truck? A
Food truck?
Food truck.
What kind of truck would that be with food in it?
Words are hard.
What is that? There's a truck. They show up. They show up at noon, and then they drive in, and it's a food. Oh, I can't put it together. I can't get this food truck.
Food truck. Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Rhule's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Rhule's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Rhule's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Rhule's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Rhule's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Rhule's inside Gateway Mall.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Herbie the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Crisscross overtime here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket FM. Keep the hand up. Keep the hand up, Austin. Keep the hand up. Hit the shot. Never been shaky a day in his life. But somebody that has been shaky damn near every day since he's been here. Eric.
You've heard of Rico Suave. There's Rico Shaky.
I have never been shaky.
Very shaky. I saw him yesterday, taking pictures and sitting out there in that baking hot sun. And, of course, he looked very shaky.
Me? Shaky? Never.
Facts.
Never been shaky. How you doing, Stricky?
I'm good, my boy.
How's the weekend?
Had a great weekend.
You had a great weekend?
Played a little golf.
What's better, the weekend or your golf swing?
Oh, the weekend.
I had it was fun. Let me just say that it was a great time. Went out there and it was blazing hot.
You ain't lying.
Oh man, it was so hot.
What was hotter, the temperature or your putter?
No, putter was okay.
Putter was shaky?
It was okay. Shaky. Very shaky.
Stricky took my headphones.
It'd be like that sometimes. Dang. It do be like that sometimes.
Take a phone call.
You seen the depth chart?
Way down.
Oh, you got that headset?
Yeah, there we go.
Where we got going?
Stricky, what? Can we refocus?
Stricky.
What? You looking at some atlas on your map?
Stricky, no. Have you seen the depth chart? That was my question.
I wanted to give a shout out, and I wanted to make sure I was
getting it corrected.
Yeah, I was getting it corrected. But listen, it was a great group of guys that I played with, but it was just so hot.
Yeah, it was this weekend.
It was just so freaking hot.
I know. I played on Saturday and Sunday. It was very warm.
Yeah.
How'd you play?
I didn't hit it as good as I
I
did when we last played, but I hit some good shots.
Good.
I threw a few of them in there, made a couple putts, so I can say I made contribution.
Good. That's all that matters.
Why are you throwing the ball in? You're supposed to hit it with the golf
ball.
Great question.
Wasn't a pause.
What do you? I threw in a couple darts.
Yeah, we good.
Oh, you were playing darts?
We good.
I thought you were golfing.
He has no
I know.
clue.
He doesn't understand. He's
What
shaky.
is happening?
He's shaky.
You just don't
He's like an
understand.
Holiday,
earthquake.
we're working the kinks out.
There's
with me. I don't know what's
lingo.
going on.
There's
golf
he
lingo.
doesn't know and you don't know.
Yeah.
Me and
I know Keegan Bradley
have
put on a
great
show.
rapport.
Hey, I had a couple big putts. My short game was very, very good this weekend. I could not get off the tee though.
That's kind of
Could not get off the tee.
I couldn't hit it. I hit a couple now.
Get me within like 140, and I was just fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's have the Dylan Rhule conversation. 402-464-5685. Because Matt Rhule was asked about Dylan Rhule and whether or not they're going to hold him back at all. And I thought his answer was pretty notable. And it goes to what we were getting on the text line just a few minutes ago as well. Here's Matt Rhule on Dylan Rhule.
No. I'd rather lose the first game than the last game. So we're not going to ease into it. We're going to play.
So pretty short and sweet. There was a couple of back-to-back questions of like, is that because it's Dylan Rhule, or would you be that way with every single quarterback?
Specifically strategy, but mindset-wise.
Yeah, Dylan's going to play. He's going to play the plays, right? He's going to, when we call drop back, he's going to go back there, take his drop, go through his progression. Just how we want him to play when he's a junior. We're going to start day one that way. We're not easing into anything.
And then Sipple actually asked, hey, is this because he's Dylan Rhule, or is it because he's just a quarterback? Would you do this with everybody else? And Matt, it was kind of funny. Do you have that quote,
Is
Rico?
it the longer one?
No,
No,
it's
I
okay.
don't have that one.
Matt, he like looks over at Sip and like puts his hand over there and goes, not to be demeaning, but he's like, he's just like, not to be demeaning, but like, this is where I'm at. This is just where I'm at. And like we're going to play. He's going to play. We're not easing him into it. This is just where I'm at. And he was kind of like short or curt with it. And I didn't take offense to it. I don't think anybody took offense to it. Nobody really had an issue with it either. But I found myself kind of walking away from that going, all right, we can't use he's a freshman quarterback growing pains excuse. Like we just can't. And it's okay that we don't do that this year. He is the starting quarterback in Nebraska. Matt Rhule said it specifically today that he needs to be the expectation is one of starting quarterback at Nebraska. He goes, we've talked about what comes with that. You got to focus on the highs. You got to work on the lows. And he goes, if you're worried about what people say about you or how they view you or talk about you, then this isn't for you. And he was very upfront about that. And my thing is like, he needs to take his lumps. Like, and that's okay. It's a perfectly okay thing talking about the pass blocking specifically, whether that's from the offensive line or whether that's from the running backs, because it doesn't matter what position you're at. And he mentioned Phelan Sanford, and I'm not trying to go bounce around from subject to subject, but doesn't matter what position, doesn't matter about recruiting rankings, doesn't matter. They're putting dudes on the field that can help them win. Dylan Rhule is one of those, just as whoever's lined up at running back, just the same as Bryce Benhart, just the same as Turner Corcoran and Ben Scott and Jamal Banks, down the list we go. He is the same. The 5-star doesn't matter anymore. Like, we're going to hear about that on Saturday. He's obviously the prized possession of this offense, all that. None of that matters anymore. He needs to play football. He needs to be viewed as a football player at Nebraska. And that's the expectation that we need to use ourselves.
The 5-star doesn't matter, and the freshman doesn't matter.
No.
At this point. I'm curious to see if they actually believe it or if it's just lip service. I think Matt Rhule wants to believe it. What's the game plan? That'll show me what they actually think about this young man and his skill set.
I think also
here's the thing I will say before you say that. I would normally say what Austin just said, but because I've now had time from the time that he's arrived here in Lincoln, throughout the time that he's gone on through a season, the ups, the downs, the troubles, the adversity, the problems, the losses, the highs, all of that I haven't seen him speak a whole bunch of coach speak. So, so this is what, so I normally would say what you would say. I think he probably does believe it, but again, I understood the adjustments that he made last year based on what was going on. And although he wanted to play a certain way, because he was given a hand, he basically had to make those adjustments. That's where I think it won't be coach speak. It'll be just he's making the adjustments more so than.
And I think a lot of it
what's
is once the bullets start flying here, we're about to see a little bit more onto how this coaching staff, to your point, Austin, once the bullets are flying and if the mistakes are made, how does the coaching staff respond? How do they talk about it? I suppose. How do they explain it? And I think to your point, Austin, that's where we'll start to learn a little bit more about how they truly view Dylan Rhule and the future of this offense. Because I mean, Matt Rhule basically just said it there. We want him to play, on Saturday as he'll play as a junior and things like that. The expectation then should be, how would you want your starting quarterback to play as an experienced starting quarterback? Now, granted, Dylan Rhule doesn't have that at the college level, but there sure is a lot of experience in just playing the quarterback position. There's a lot of things that you can control before the game that will certainly help you out during the game, I think. And so I think it's just important, though, that we realize, there's a lot of expectation, but the same as we expect, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a first-year starter here for Nebraska. Jamal Banks to go out and handle his business, I guess, is fine. Jamal Banks to go out and handle his business, or Jalen Lloyd, or Malachi Coleman, or the kicker, whether that's Tristan Alvano or whether that's John Hull. John Hull from Lincoln Southwest, whoever that is, whatever the case may be, that is the same as Dylan Rhule. Like, it needs to be the same expectation of, if he doesn't go out and take care of the football or handle his business, then you got to go on to the next one.
And we need a better Buschini. BB.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Buschini. Yeah.
Because we don't need shankers when we freaking need 30, 40 yarders instead of 20.
So, and so we'll figure it out. I think it'll be fine. But I think it's important to note that this staff is basically, from what they've said these last couple of times that we've truly been able, since Big Ten Media Days, really, about Dylan Rhule, the reins are off. They are not easing into it. He was very clear about that.
That could be some sort of another vote of confidence instead of just naming him the starter, which obviously is a massive vote of confidence for a true freshman. It's saying, like, look, we're not going to treat you like a true freshman. We're not going to view you as a true freshman. We're viewing you as a dude who is going to step into this role and lead us in these games. Like, we're not going to look at you and say, oh, it's okay that you threw this interception because it's your first year. Oh, it's okay that you fumbled the snap because it's your first year. No, you're stepping in here and we're expecting you to perform at a high level. And that's, again, kind of another vote of confidence for Dylan.
I don't know if it's ever been viewed as like okay to throw picks. I think there's just been a larger grace period, which is, I think, something that through what they're saying, it's okay if that's not the case this year.
I've been on this train for a few weeks now, and I think I pulled the 25 schedule up just to refresh myself. But the other reason I think it's important that they do go all in early, right? No easing into it, is because I think they have the sense of urgency that 24 is probably going to be easier than 25.
Yeah.
If you look at that schedule, Cincinnati at a neutral site in Indy, Akron, and then Houston Christian.
Jeez.
You go to Maryland and Minnesota. You go to Penn State and UCLA. Your home games are Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, USC. Not murderer's row necessarily, but tougher than this year, I would say, on the aggregate.
I realized. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was just very quickly, I'll just say, if Nebraska wants to prove it's heading in the right direction, it arrives a year ahead of time. If you wait till next year, you might be a better team next year, but the schedule's tougher and it might not reflect. So let's get some wins. Let's bank them this year.
That part.
Get the fan base feeling like things are headed in the right direction.
Right.
So they're in a better spot mentally for next year.
Facts. I realized how, last thing before we get out of here, I realized how gettable basically their entire schedule is this year. Last week. What's tricky?
No, I just had
he's fine.
I realized how gettable it was, because there's a possibility that you're only playing like one or two ranked teams by the end of this time, at the end of the season. And to say that in the changing landscape of college football, that is going to be incredibly rare.
Because
rare.
Next year you can talk yourself into, we'll see about Maryland, we'll see about Minnesota, Iowa.
Iowa will be ranked. Michigan will be ranked.
Michigan State, I know you're going to say yes because of Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, I love Jonathan Smith. But no, I mean, we'll say no. Penn State, yes.
USC.
Yes.
UCLA?
No.
That's three. That's at least three, maybe five. That's half your schedule, essentially.
I just, it's just one of those things. Wisconsin, depending on what happens.
You don't have Wisconsin.
You don't have Wisconsin next year. But I mean, ultimately though.
Oh, this year, yeah, I'm not buying.
Yeah, no. But like I'm saying, like for the gettable piece, it's just incredibly rare, because you do look like the Purdue's, and they got 5 on their schedule this year, and they There's other teams that have over half of their schedule are against preseason ranked teams or teams, programs that are on the fringe.
i.e. Florida.
UCLA is not on the fringe right now, right? Like USC is a fringe team. Iowa's a fringe team. The only surefire team that's going to be 1,000% ranked by the time Nebraska plays them is Ohio State.
Unless things go terribly wrong.
I don't see it.
No.
I don't have vision.
Not a chance. Not a chance. What's coming up on the show today, gents?
Well, we'll start with some weekend headlines. Royals Guardians doubleheader in progress. Danny Jansen making some history. CeeDee Lamb extension. All sorts of stuff to get to. Stricky and I will go through the depth chart on our own at 2:30. Cooper Flagg signed a shoe deal.
Yes.
Boo. Yeah, it's kind of an underwhelming.
We'll go over
deal.
that.
Yeah.
We'll hear some more from Matt Rhule and then have our weekly chat with Brian Munson of Husker Online.
All right, there you have it.
Pause. How do you pull that off if you're at Duke wearing New Balance?
Because Duke's not going to say, hey, you can't come here because you got New Balances.
That's unbelievable.
They got championships
Good
to
enough
win.
for Shohei. It's good enough for Cooper.
There you have it.
If
All right,
Kawhi can wear them, so can Cooper.
we're out of here. Make sure you stick around on the block with Strick and Austin is coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I was noticing on your website you have more than 150 new 2024 and 2025 Hondas in stock right now.
Yes, we do, Charlie. It's neat when you drive by and see all the cars on our lot, and we have most all models and all different colors available, and we even have more than hundreds on the way. We also have the all-new, all-electric 2024 Honda Prologue in stock right now. We have a few of them to choose from. Plus, qualified buyers get financing from just 1.9% APR.
How about your pre-owned selection?
I talk to a lot of my customers and friends, and they still think that we just sell brand new Honda, but we sell all different models, make of pre-owned cars, and we have more than 100 to choose from right now.
Well, maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.